Okay, so James, Chelsea, you and I are going to do a whole deep dive into the Astartes storyline. So,
Yay!
We're taking a deep dive into 40K in a very, very heavy manner, considering this is made by one guy. And holy crap, is it good. And you guys will enjoy the greatness of this in its entirety.
Okay.
If you say so.
I does say so.
I know how Heather feels when we start talking about things.
I love the sense of scale since you get to see an Astartes compared to a standard.
Yeah, that was cool. You said this is all done by one guy?
This is all done by one guy.
Did they just get shot off into space?
Yep.
Well, I guess since they're Astartes, what was the symbol on them? I didn't catch it.
So, if we go back to the symbol you mentioned, I'm assuming it is... No, right before that? Actually, where was that symbol?
It was, back... Yeah, where the hand is hovering over, there's like a medallion.
Ah, that one. Okay, so that's an incense.
Oh, that's the Inquisition.
Well, that symbol is for the Inquisition. That symbol is the Aquila, which is the symbol of the Emperor and the Imperium as a whole. So the double-headed Aquila represents the Empire as a whole. And what he's basically doing is consecrating his weapon before going into battle. Now, it is kind of weird that he did include the Inquisition medallion here. So, from first glance, especially if you're not someone who knows offhand like the colors of the Grey Knights, you would assume these guys are Grey Knights. But, if you look over here, they're not that gray, and their symbol is not that of the Grey Knights at all. It actually... Let me see if I can get to the next panel here. Right there. A skull gripped by a hand. That's not a standard Astartes standard Primarch made Astartes chapter. This is more than likely a successor chapter. But to who? That becomes a question. No, if I had to give my guess, it has to be one of two that it could be. And it could be the Iron Hands, which is the faction of Ferrus Manus, or they could be a faction from the Imperial Fists, which is Rogel Doran's chapter. So, won't know until we find out more.
Looking at the hallway, everything's clean cut and put together. Well, and this could just be a choice from the artist, where everything's clean cut and doesn't have any superfluous whatever. I could see it being Dorn, because he was very... This is the task, this is its purpose.
Yeah.
Nothing flowery about it.
Nope. And I think, was there a date given? Yeah, there was a date given. So this is Millennium 39, 482. So this is pretty much getting close to the 40K timeline as of current. But this is 500 years before that. So one other thing that I kind of want to point out. Right about... just missed it. Why did it?
They're so tiny. Small humans.
Look at that. That's a standard human. These guys tower them. They are close to two of them.
These are big boys.
Yeah, these are definitely big boys. They are essentially 800-pound monsters wrapped inside of a Land Rover.
With secondary and tertiary backup organs, if I remember correctly.
To quote the Russian Badger, we got 2 hearts, we got 3 lungs, night vision, and the ability to eat anything.
Yep.
So yeah.
You know what that kind of reminds me of, just in scaling wise.
Hmm.
Big boy from Destiny.
Mm.
The Super Hive Knight.
Yeah. Standard Knights versus that axe-wielding Hive Knight from Destiny. Ugh.
That's a big boy.
That's a big boy. See, I thought you were going to make a joke. I'm talking about height difference there, bud. I was about to say.
No, I'm not that mean.
Okay, well.
Here's a question. Because I can't quite tell there, and it might be a mix of the two. Is this live action or is this animated?
No, this is 100% animated. No live action.
That is beautiful then, because honestly, those people look real. And the movement and the shine and everything on the Astartes, it looks real. It looks like it's a costume.
Yeah, seriously. And just by looking at the way things move, it's so natural. And yeah, they use a lot of camera trickery to kind of hide the fact that, yeah, it's animated. But it's so well done. Looking at this at first glance, I was thinking this is a high production from Games Workshop directly.
Yeah, it looks like it's a live cut thing. Like they had people in costuming and all this stuff. That is beautiful.
Mm-hmm. And he even... I gotta point this out because we see all that, but when we get up to this part, that's a static image of a standard transport vehicle. That's it. It's a static image. This is not rendered at all, but it's animated in such a way you wouldn't really notice until you took a really deep look at it.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, so I gotta give this guy credit for beautiful work, and this is just part 1, and it's only a 50-second clip. Once we get into the other parts that come up, they get longer, and you see a lot more detail happening at once. So, I'm going to go prep up part 2. You ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Let me make sure the volume is set, because the other one was very overpowering. All right.
Well, okay, well, while you're setting that one up, I don't remember if it was one that you had sent or not.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember seeing a 40K clip where it was just like one soldier just kind of fending off these things in the darkness, and he was basically screwed. And then I think one of the Astartes came up like he was like saying a prayer to the Emperor, and then the Astarte came up behind him, just finishing the prayer with his bolter, laying waste, and he just looked at him and goes, "Get up." He gets up and he was just like, "I am with you, praise be the Emperor." And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "The Emperor be praised." And then they just like kind of go forward, and that was the end of it. Mm-hmm. That was a very, very high quality costume. Because that definitely had.
I have to agree with that, because honestly,
yeah,
they went above and beyond to make those armors for that video. I have to see if I find it again, so that way I can sort of edit that in just to show what we're talking about. But they did a bang-up job with those props.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know the video you're talking about too. It is very well done.
Mm-hmm. Actually, funny enough, Man-at-Arms did a chainsaw sword from Warhammer 40K years ago.
Yes, I remember. I think I sent that to you.
Yeah, so after watching that, I'm like, oh, the future is now.
No chainsword for you.
Oh, you're mean. Chain axe then.
No.
Chain katana?
Hey,
that doesn't sound like it's a real thing.
Dude, I told you, if you want to put the money into it, I can build you a bolter.
Yes.
Please no.
All right, let's start part 2. Right through the asteroid belt. There's the ship. There goes one drone. Missiles.
Is this? Oh my! Oh wow!
That was pretty cool.
Yep. This is a boarding. So calm, so nonchalant. It's like they own the place.
Well, when you're that big and you're that strong, in most cases you do.
Yep.
Yeah, really.
And I love the attention to detail to this because all the way back here for the boarding action, you can basically see, it was right about here, you actually get to see afterburners kicking up to slow this ship down, and then lasers to start cutting into the ceramite hull of this ship.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting. The ship looks, and I think this is typical of most Astartes ships. It looks like a old Gothic building, where it's got the old arched windows and towers.
Oh yeah, it definitely is something to behold in terms of design. And if you were to compare those ship sizes to like other sci-fi ships, and the scales do not compare. I mean, even the Enterprise C, I think, which is like the largest ship for Star Trek on the Federation side, everyone thinks like, oh, it's practically the size of a city. You look at one of the Astartes ships, and I'm just talking about like a cruiser version of that. Nah, dwarfs it by at least 10 times.
Okay, well then here's the question on that then. The Super Star Destroyer from Episode 5. That thing was massive.
Super
I mean, that was basically...
Destroyer versus Warhammer 40K. Well, let me see if Google could actually be of use here.
Well, it looked like that first thing was
Okay.
So... they did a death battle.
Okay. That's quite the difference.
Yeah. So the Super Star Destroyer, yeah, that's pretty big. And if we're talking about like the Primarch ships, yeah, they're bigger than the Primarch ship. But you got to remember, the Primarch ship has one of these, and they are flanked by multiples of these. This one right here is just a frigate. It has one of the lightest ships in the entire Imperium. That is comparable to a standard Galactic Republic Venator class destroyer here. Can you imagine that?
So much.
Now, one thing that I kind of want to point out is the fact that why is it that a ship was able to burrow through into this one here, and there's still gas being emitted here? Do you want to know the reason to that?
Gas being emitted into the ship?
Yep. We're talking about the vacuum of space. It should be sucking air out, right?
Unless they have some sort of force field that prevents air from leaving.
Well, void shields would be an easy way to answer that question, but that's not the case. What this type of dropship does, it actually exposes a sealant foam as it burrows in, so that way the gases don't leave all at once.
Oh.
Ah.
So this, just by this bit of information alone, you could tell they want to go in and they want to seize the ship intact. They don't want to destroy everything that's in it. I mean, that's easy enough to assume, but they didn't want to create catastrophic damage.
Which should also be why they would slow down the ship, otherwise it would just blow right through it.
Mm-hmm.
True.
And, I'm sorry, this scene right here, the bolter doing its work, this guy was literally split in half at the midsection.
Oh.
Those bullets explode. An RPG and an assault rifle had a baby and it gave birth to the bolter.
Those poor little humans had no choice. No chance.
Not a single chance.
No chance in hell.
Although it's strange that they would be boarding Why would they be boarding humans, is the question. Unless they were... So there's two possibilities.
Heretics.
One would be that they're good Astartes, and these are heretical, chaos-worshipping, whatever, people. The other option is these are traitor Astartes, and these are good people.
Well, we're going to have to find out as we go forward. But one thing that does come up is, if they were traitors, why would they have the Inquisition symbol on them?
That's a good point. That's a good question. But, well, no. Having the Inquisition adds a third option.
Oh?
The Inquisition are dicks and will also attack good people.
Okay, yeah. That is a very hard thing to refute. But we'll just have to see how this goes. But I also wanted to point this out here. That's every human on target. Who do you think is seeing this?
That's a good question.
The Astartes themselves. They don't see the Astartes see them. They make the predators blush.
So do Astartes have, at least their helmets, would they have some sort of like heat sensing something that allows them to see heat?
They have thermal vision, basically.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep, that is standard to the Astartes war kit.
Alright.
And the crazy thing is, because the armor of the Astartes is programmed to be such an integration to their system, all they have to do in order to switch thermals off is blink.
Nice.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
That also sounds like a nightmare, but...
Blink, blank, blank, crap.
Well, I was just thinking, biologically and engineering-wise, it would be a nightmare to get that to work properly. Mm-hmm. And there would be lots of failed
experiments
or quirked up people. Yeah, or even once you get it down, there's still a chance that it would go wrong.
True.
Imagine getting an eyelash caught in your eye and you just start having one of those blinking fits and you're just like,
On the last blink that you do before your squad mate holds your eye open to get the eyelash for you, and you're like, okay, but it's stuck on X-ray, like, oh god, no.
Oh, please no.
Oh, that would be funny. Alright, so, part 3 is coming in hot. You guys ready for this?
Yeah. Oh.
Is that a vault?
It's a vault. It's a what? Who knows?
Okay, I was just being a smartass because that looked like one of the vaults from Fallout.
That guy, his face.
What face?
Exactly.
Those are literally 50 pounds graded to go through armor.
There's only a chance it's gonna kill these guys.
A double howitzer?
So it looks like. Oof. I forgot about that scene.
This is ever gorgeous, by the way. Because it's all very interesting. They just mowed down their own men.
Yep. Just to do damage.
To try and get... And it didn't even put him down.
No.
Nope.
It looks like it did some damage, at least.
It did. It definitely did.
Okay,
but here's the thing, so going... Sorry.
This gives a whole new meaning to the word just tanking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It does. I mean,
so the guy with no face... Sorry, I'm interrupting.
Which guy with no face?
The one with the lines all over his face. There's two things I want to say.
All the way back here?
Yeah. Two things I want to say. One, that's beautiful.
Uh-huh.
That is gorgeous. Oh my gosh, I can't believe somebody drew that. Second of all, because of the lines all over the face, and he seems to be the guy in charge. I'm being reminded of Lorgar.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. And James, just to bring you up to speed, Lorgar was an ultra-religious Primarch, and he was the leader of the Astartes called the Word Bearers, and they tried to make a religion about the Emperor, but the Emperor was against religion as a whole. And then he eventually turned to chaos because he was looking for God, if you can laugh at that joke.
Interesting.
Yeah, and he had, tattoos all over his face and his head of words.
Mm-hmm. Basically scriptures tattooed all over his body. And his Astartes Legion tend to have that too. But the thing is, masks were not standard to Astartes. And these guys are huge, because you saw them among normies too. These guys are about as big as an Astartes would be.
As big as Astartes, yeah. Which leads me to believe he probably is, probably a traitor legion.
Yeah, it's a pretty easy inference to make.
But his armor doesn't really give anything away. Oh, there's another one behind him.
Mm-hmm. There's two of them.
There's more than one.
Now, there is one bit here, if you notice. He's using a stun baton. So, I'm assuming that these two are enforcers. I'm assuming these guys are either slave drivers to some degree, and maybe these guys are a group of mercenaries. That's the best guess I have. They can't be Astartes.
But they're ridiculously big.
Yeah. So,
is the thing. Only Astartes really get that big. One, because...
That's not true.
They have... Really?
There are some abnormal humans who do get that big, depending on the planet that they come from.
That's insane.
Well, that's why the Imperium as a whole has a whole thing about the Xeno, the Heretic, and the Mutant. So, these guys could be mutants too. We don't know.
Yeah, true.
Now, another thing that I kind of want to point out that's kind of laughable. He dodged a rocket. That distance is not far enough for a normal guy to just get out of the way and dodge it so casually like he did.
Well, that's not a normal guy.
No, he's not.
Nope. Well, let's also go forward a bit to... That bit right there, all that is doing actual damage and is doing bullet hole damage to his ceramite plate. That is next to impossible to do. But the fact that he's actually just standing there and taking that anyway means he must have some real damn good faith in his gear.
True, well, I'm looking at it. Mm-hmm. Looking at the damage that's been done, it looks like it's not even all the way through the plating.
It's not. I'd say that'd be no different than taking a steel plate and shooting it with a .22. But shoot the same spot enough times, it's going to warp away.
True.
But how long do you honestly have at that point?
Well, and he does slip around the corner, and then as soon as he comes back, shoots, and the guy's gone.
Mm-hmm. And the crazy thing about that, since you brought that up, turning in the corner, you'll notice the Astartes gets a charge shot off, but there's all this smoke in the way. And it goes back to his kit being able to see where that guy was.
Yeah. Well, and plus if he got a look before the smoke showed up, he would
have a general idea of where it is.
Yeah, he'd have an idea of where he is. And he'd know where to aim.
Yeah. You raise a good point. But yeah, this series is definitely awesome.
It's beautiful.
Alright, ready for part 4?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh.
Interesting.
Oh. Okay. So I have an idea as to what's going on, but I want to wait to see how this plays out.
That is cool.
Mm-hmm.
Were those psychers?
They had to have been.
Like that's what that was, right?
To be perfectly honest, psychers have the ability to actually stop bolts of fire.
Yeah, they do. It's kind shields.
But, my god.
So those have to be... Those are psychers with some sort of amplification thing between the two of them, which also is possible and been done before, but that was done among the Thousand Sons with Magnus.
Mm-hmm. You know your lore. Good to know.
It's that one book, man. It is that one book I read.
But let's also go back and stop for 1 minute to appreciate just the amount of detail. He didn't just animate these as regular bullets coming in. He made them bullets with rocket trails, because these are rockets being launched at somebody.
Yeah.
And they're also exploding off the shield, too.
Yeah.
I mean, holy crap. And just the sheer intimidation factor, that alone would pretty much make someone like me quake in their boots. These two are no joke.
No, well, when you have that kind of power, you have the entire realm of possibilities. So from their point of view, they're gonna win, because all they've known is power and what they can do with it.
Yeah. Sure.
They just happen to meet two people who can outclass them just enough. Because when the one got taken out, the other got affected by it, and that's what got... They took advantage of that, and that's how the other one died.
True. Now, there is one thing I also have to put out there, stipulation on the whole psychers being more powerful than normal people. There are certain levels of psychers.
True.
So each one has their own ability. These two, though, pulling off just what they did with the bolters, that by itself puts them in a league that makes them competitive to the Battlefront psychers. Not just the astropaths or anything that just use theirs for utility. These guys are pretty much battle mages. They are dedicated to war. Now, one thing I also do want to point out, their response to the Astartes was pretty much to make them explode, essentially sending a wave of force to knock these guys back. But if you look forward, all the way up to this part, they're all coming back from where they were stationed. So that means these Astartes were able to take a full psychonic blast and still get up and continue their mission. So these Astartes themselves, I gotta say, they're scary.
Yeah, they're pretty heavy-handed, because typically, maybe I'm just imagining, but as far as like psychic power versus physical thrashing, usually there's like one or the other they're better at dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
So if these are doing both, that's pretty intense.
Mm-hmm. But I gotta say, the actual fight choreography was just awesome. Simple, but
it's gorgeous.
wonderful. That moment, just absolutely beautiful.
And he was able to push through the kind shield too, which is really impressive.
Once he was able to stun him enough for it to go down, there he goes, going down as hard as he can. Now, one thing I also do want to point out, when the Astartes was going full tilt towards these two, you gotta remember, an Astartes can go up to a standard of 40 miles an hour on their own in a full sprint.
Wow.
It kind of makes me wonder, like, just how far he was away from those two psychers in order to do all that.
Well, from the general layout, from what we've seen, it looks like it's a pretty big distance.
Yeah. And the only thing that's vulnerable on Astartes' standard kit is the eye, right there. So if you really want to try to kill an Astartes, you have to get a perfect shot on their eyes, and that's a small profile.
Yeah.
All right. Any questions there, James?
No. Good.
All right. Now let's go with the latest release. Previously on Astartes.
Previously on mobile tanks.
Nope, now we actually get to see a size comparison. Alright, we're gonna get to see what's in the vault.
I wonder if it's a Primarch.
No.
There's a couple still, like, kind of brain dead. Rebute.
Hey, it's everyone's favorite golden boys.
I don't like them. Also, was that a Mechanicus?
Nope.
Oh, he looked like he had wires hanging down from his head.
He's connected to the machine, so he may have some type of education from the Mechanicus, but he himself is not Mechanicus. They're too proud about showing off their Mechanicus symbol.
Whoa.
Yeah, I have no idea what that was about. An entire statue. Looks like a guy. And
That looked like a robot, not a statue. There were wires.
True.
Which...
It's made out of the same metal as those guys' masks were. Psychic projection? Astartes. That thing knows what they are.
And he doesn't like him.
Scared me.
Okay. Is that a detonator charge?
I have no idea what that is. It may be. I don't have the foggiest clue. All I know is that it's affecting it in some manner.
Well, it's not a detonator if it's doing it like that.
Maybe something to make it inert. We're trying to make it inert. Alright, Mr. Inquisitor, what do we got on file?
What is... I missed what he was saying.
I think it just took over that guy.
Safe bet.
I don't like what that was.
Neither did they.
Kill it!
Oh.
It's absorbing them?
Yeah, it is.
Well.
Okay, so there's two things I need to double check and see.
Going.
Oh.
Oh.
That's gonna be effective.
I think they can cut off pain anyways.
Yeah, he's seen some things. Oh man, I can't get over his right hand is gone. To more to come.
Okay.
Alright.
So the questions I had.
Okay. I have no blessed idea what the hell's going on.
If you go to the flashing of things when I first saw right before the Inquisitor got shot, and it was flashing through things that he saw.
Right
up there, I think.
Here.
Yeah. Okay, yep, I know exactly what that is, and I don't like it.
I don't think anyone
Okay, would you like...
Well,
okay,
no, because
like
I know
share with the
exactly what it
class?
is. So, go to where the guy is disappearing. Couple seconds. Backward. There. Do you see what's the symbol that's on his chest? And do you see what is happening to him?
Well, he's being completely decimated, and the symbol on his chest is that of the chapters that the Inquisitor is with.
Are you sure? Because it looks like a scarab. And he's turning into dust.
No, still looks like a skull and a fist.
Is it?
Yeah, still, I can see the thumb right there. That's still a skull in a fist.
Yeah, to me it looked like a scarab, and I'm like, oh crap, that's the rubrics. Because that's not fun whatsoever. And then later when there's the flashing of the guys with the orb, it kind of looked... what I imagine Zane's supposed to look like, because lots of tentacles.
That thing?
Sure.
Anti-tentacle monster?
I mean, that's kind of what he is.
That just makes it even worse, especially the scene down all the way here when he looks down and all he sees is a tentacle wrapped around him.
I mean...
well, I mean, if you think about it, they are flipped, so...
I have not really an idea of what that is. The only thing that I can imagine this being, they were taken into the warp by something.
Yeah, and that's what it looked like to me as well.
And this next part right here, where you see that blast hit them, I think it was after the psychic backlash of the Inquisitor getting killed by the Astartes.
That makes sense.
Now, where this guy ended up, I have no blessed idea.
I don't know. The only place I can think of that does a lot of... Well, okay, there's a lot of skeletons. So it could be a tomb world.
It could. Honestly, I think that is a very good argument to make, strictly from the fact that this does have a humanoid shape, but all of them are bound to thrones and such, and their facial bones, their cheekbones and such, look a little more pronounced. Sharper. So I think this could be easy to draw the conclusion this could be Necrons, or at least ancient Necrons.
Yeah, or the Catan. Because did they look like Necrons?
The Catan were gigantic robots that were huge compared to the actual Necrons. Necrons were about as big as Astartes, so...
Well, judging the size from him to them...
But the thing that doesn't make sense is, and this is the part that throws me off, is this is organic matter. The Catan were robots. So what these things are, I have no blessed idea.
Okay, I will be back in a moment. You guys talk amongst yourselves, because I'm lost.
Okay.
Sure thing.
Okay. And it could be I'm predisposed to thinking of the Thousand Sons and Magnus because he's my favorite, but just the combination of the giant psyker power with the orb that blew up, and people turning into dust, and a weird tentacle monster, that's what I pulled from it. But then at the end, there's no way he's on the world of sorcerers.
As we know it.
As we know of it.
Yep.
Unless it is, in which case, good luck getting home.
Yeah, seriously. Oh, man. And this was all made by one guy. That is
impressive.
Thing.
He is truly talented.
Although I have to say, this little snippet here at the very end, showing the other chapters.
Okay, what is that symbol?
I have no idea. That is not standard Astartes either.
You're supposed to know these things.
Comparatively, I am more knowledgeable, but I am about as lost as they get. Because this right here, obviously this is a successor chapter of the Blood Angels. They have to be. Because,
I mean, it looks like blood, yeah.
Yeah. The only thing that throws me off is the fact that there's half red, half black. That right there means it's a successor chapter of some kind, but I don't know which one it is. Then in the next flash right there...
That looks like a dragon?
Could be salamanders, could be...
salamanders, yeah.
Or it could be a successor chapter of the, the Alpha.
I'm back.
So I don't know which chapters these are, and then we end up on this one with the bony hands. I have no idea who they are.
Unless there's somebody specifically, specific to fighting Necrons.
Maybe.
Like, that's their niche. Which would make sense given the giant skeletons, and that's the only real reason I can think of to have a bony hand. Unless you're a successor for Mortarion? Was that who it was?
Mortarion was for the Death Guard, not him.
Well, there were two of them that were really obsessed with death, and I don't remember who they were.
Well, let's see, that being the case, yeah. Because Mortarion did everything he can to avoid dying. But the shot where...
Was he the one who was killed multiple times?
Yes.
Okay.
But this part right here throws me off a little bit because the only enemy I can think of that uses energy projectiles, especially glass shards like this, are Dark Eldar. So I don't know if that's an inkling that the next thing is going to cover a different chapter and this is going to be a war on a different front. So,
well, that would be interesting.
But I gotta give a lot of credit to the creator of Astartes. This is a fantastic production, and Games Workshop really need to endorse this guy. Full
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I agree.
And to be honest...
Because it's beautiful.
Oh, yeah. One guy doing this and doing it this well and this polished, come on. The fan base have got to eat this up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, so that's enough of Astartes. Guys, if we have any more questions, we'll take it off in the reel for now. But, yeah, until next time, thank you for checking out our reaction to the Astartes, and hopefully we'll catch you again soon. Bye.